Welcome back to my KEEPUP channel. At least one person is killed by deadly flash flooding across the Northeast as water overwhelms homes in New York and engulfs West Point military base. One person was killed as floodwaters overwhelmed West Point, home to the U.S. military academy, leading to roads turning into rivers and submerged residential areas. Videos and photos showed flooded roads, including Thayer Road leading to the military base, as state officials say roads in Orange County, New York, are impassable and several bridges collapsed. The amount of water is extraordinary, Governor Kathy Hochul said. Commuters are stranded because of the rain that has battered the East Coast for much of Sunday. Amtrak trains suspended service between New York City and Albany due to the weather conditions. More than 1,500 flights from New York City, Boston, and Philadelphia airports have been delayed because of Sunday's weather. Areas from North Carolina to the Northeast are under watches and warnings as rain pours on the region, hitting the hardest in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and the rest of New England. West Point in New York is the oldest of the 5 American service academies and educates cadets for commissioning into the U.S. Army and is home to around 4,200 students. On Sunday, the small town became the epicenter of the flooding disaster, with 8 inches of rain falling in hours. State Senator James Skofies said a woman in her 30s died in the flooding, according to the New York Times, but details of what caused her death were not released. New York State Police Trooper Stephen Nabel said search and rescue was an all-hands-on-deck effort and the Palisades Interstate Parkway was washed out. The scene led to a string of social media posts from concerned locals. One resident posted a picture of Thayer Road, writing the stark warning, "Find high ground." Another clip from the West Point region showed a road outside the Grand housing area at the military center completely inundated with murky rainwater, with a car stuck in the middle. Multiple people could be seen standing knee-deep in the water attempting to push the vehicle out of harm's way amid the unrelenting deluge. Roads were so deluged by the intense rainfall near the military base that the water flowed down the street like a river, sending trash cans and other small objects down the stream. Stony Point, further down the Hudson from West Point, saw people evacuate their homes because of the torrential downpours. Roads and homes in the area were completely washed out. Congressman Mike Lawler wrote, "Significant flooding in Stony Point, homes and cars, and many people evacuated. Thank you to all of our first responders on the scene. Everyone stay off the roads, as the flash flood warning is still in effect and roadways have been flooded and washed out." Up to 3.5 inches of rainfall is expected to fall per hour in the New York towns of Curious Joel, New City, Woodbury, West Point, and Cold Spring. The bad weather has also caused major disruption for trains in New York State. Robert boarded the train from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central at 2:50 p.m., but a journey that is meant to be 2 hours has turned into 4. Boulders are currently blocking the tracks in both directions, caused by the torrential rain, meaning the train is stranded in the middle of its journey. And staff have said they have no idea when they will be able to get back on track. Robert said, "Some people are freaked out. For the most part, people are keeping calm. Employees on the train were handing out water to begin with, but now they've run out and there is no food or power on board." He said, "They don't have a plan. They were going to get buses to come and reach us, but the roads are flooded so they can't make it. It's AF **INGS*** though." Train staff briefly let the passengers off the train to stand on the side of the tracks in the drizzly conditions, because there is no AC on board. Robert said, "They've let us off the train on to the tracks for some air, because it is so hot in there." A slow-moving cold front will arrive Sunday evening with more severe thunderstorms and heavy rain stretching from the Northeast to North Carolina that could last throughout the next few days, the National Weather Service said. The weather is already impacting flights, with a total of 1,355 flights within, into, or out of the U.S. that have been canceled as of Sunday afternoon. There have been 250 flights out of New York's LaGuardia that were canceled, 150 flights out of John F. Kennedy, and 190 flights out of Newark canceled, according to FlightAware. In Boston, 115 flights have been canceled and 170 delayed, while Philadelphia has seen 107 cancellations and 161 delays. It comes just 2 days after the East Coast was pummeled by storms, which produced mudslides in Vermont and flooding in Northern Virginia, where several motorists had to be rescued after driving through flooded streets in Pentagon City. Now, more severe weather is on the way, and about 80 million people from Washington to Portland, Maine, may see a month's worth of rain in just a few hours, Bloomberg reported, citing forecasts. Most major cities along Interstate 95 are under the flood watch, including Washington, Philadelphia, and New York. There are several other sites on the East Coast that could be majorly affected by the storms and could see significant flooding. Some of these areas include Hatteras in North Carolina, Norfolk in Virginia, Binghamton in New York, as well as both Hartford and New Haven in Connecticut. According to Brian Ramsey, a National Weather Service meteorologist in Upton, New York, because the storm is moving so slowly, accumulations may pile up in harder-hit areas. He added rain may fall at rates of 2 inches per hour through early Monday in New York. New Yorkers should be prepared flooding, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said in a statement. Throughout the weekend, parts of the state will continue to be at risk for flooding from storms bringing heavy rain, especially in those areas already hard hit by rains and flooding over the past couple of days. But the severe weather is expected all up and down the East Coast, much of which is still soaked from the last round of storms. We are going to be looking at some very heavy rainfall. This will include the I-95 corridor, said Andrew Orison, a forecaster with the U.S. Weather Prediction Center. In general, the region up here has been wet, so we are looking at significant impacts. In Northern Virginia last week, there were multiple water rescues after drivers ventured into high-water floodwaters that had taken over the streets in Pentagon City. At least 3 vehicles became stuck in high water along South Joy Street between Army-Navy Drive and Columbia Pike, with multiple people stranded, including an elderly person with disabilities, either in their vehicles or on the median. One report suggested that the water was so high that at least one of the vehicles was floating. Everyone was pulled from the waters and no injuries were reported. And in Vermont, mudslides were reported in the central part of the state, which forced police to close at least one major roadway in Killington. Nearly 20 feet of debris from a mudslide washed across U.S. Route 4 on Friday afternoon, the primary east-west road through the region, WCVB reported. Killington Select Board member Jim Half compared the flooding to Irene, the tropical storm that brought flooding to Vermont, Massachusetts, and other parts of New England in 2011. It's been reported that about 1 to 2 inches of rain will likely fall across the region through Tuesday. But the highest totals are expected in Northeast and New England. Further north, New York's Hudson Valley and Albany, New York, Massachusetts, Vermont and New Hampshire could see 2 to 3 inches of rain. And some areas could see rain totals of between 3 and 5 inches. Meanwhile, states in the south, including Florida and Texas, continue to sizzle in the heat with highs in the mid-90s, which is close to record-tying/breaking high temperatures for the Florida Peninsula. In South Florida, these hot temperatures, combined with high humidity, will lead to heat indices in the 105-110 degree range, the NWS said. Source: dailymail.co.uk. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.